Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, I got news for you. After hearing this rhema, after hearing this word, don't get used to seeing me in the same car. Don't get used to seeing me with the same clothes on. Don't get used to seeing me going to Wachovia. Because in this next quarter, I'm going to leverage what God has already given me. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I don't know how you feel about it, but I have the potential of being a multi-millionaire. Is there anybody here? Is there anybody here that looks like a millionaire? Get your neighbor by the hand and say, wow! I don't know how you feel about it, but I am money. I look like money. Woo! Not only that, somebody's address just changed. A door that was shut has already opened. Do I have a witness in here? Is there anybody here that knows the God that I serve? Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, neighbor. Ooh, Lord. You better tell me to sit down. But I've got to preach. I've got to let somebody know real soon I'm going to be the lender and not the borrower. Look at somebody and say, ooh, real soon God's going to do something spectacular. And the folk that were laughing at me, the folk that called me crazy, they're going to have to take another look. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, they're going to have to take another look because my pocketbook is going to do the whooping cough. I'm going to be blessed when I walk into Bank of America. I'm going to be blessed. Don't start nothing in here. Get out of your seat and go to 3 people and say, neighbor, neighbor, whatever you do, stay calm. Stay calm. Though the storms of life are raging, stay calm. Oh! Woo! Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, stay calm. Stay calm. I don't care what's happening right now in your relationships, in your home, Lord, or on your job. I want you to stay calm because soon there's going to be a shift in this house. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm getting ready to be blessed like I've never been blessed before. Is there anybody here that knows what I'm talking about? Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I'm going to be blessed when I get up in the morning on next week and the week after next. I'm going to employ Tell me to shut up. I'm going to employ everything that the Lord said. Look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, don't forget that we serve a great God. And according to John 4:4, greater is he that's in me than he. Somebody say he that's in the world. I'm so glad I'm planning my future right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody say yes. Look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, I've got one thing that I need to ask you. Is he able? Say, neighbor, I don't need to ask the woman with the issue of blood. Is he able? I don't need to ask blind Bartimaeus. Is he able? I don't need to ask Lazarus. Was he able? But look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I'm a testimony that God is able. He picked me up. Yes, yes, yes. He turned me around. He planted my feet, brought me out of the hood, put me in a subdivision, put me in a Jaguar, put me on a job, took you off a crack. Yeah, you're not in the halfway house. Is he all right? Is he all right? Is he all right? Say, neighbor. Wait a minute. I've got one more thing. I feel like preaching now, but I've got to get out here and do some prophesying. But say, neighbor. You know, 35 years ago, we're going back a little bit here. When the church got like this, y'all remember? When you got to this point where it became cataclysmic. Folk were just throwing pocketbooks and falling out because of the word, because that was in the day when all you had to do was mention Jesus in the church. That's them days when you preached. All you had to do was talk about justification and sanctification and holiness and righteousness and folk used to. I had a great aunt used to cut up in church. Oh yeah, she was old country, but she used to cut up and wear white gloves and a big hat on. And when the preacher got to tuning up, my aunt would stand up and say, "Thank you. Thank you." Oh, y'all don't know about that. But that was over there where she was. But then she came over here with the noisy folk. See, choir number 2 had to sing at the program over at First James Holiness Church. And my aunt was in the choir in a robe on because she was going to leave there and go to her Eastern Star meeting. But they got to singing. They got to singing. Joys are flowing like a river. Oh, y'all don't know the song, do you? They got to that part that said, blessed quietness. Somebody said, holy